Hey, it's Anthony Meisner at Land Title. Came to bring you your first to know update for Greater Metro Denver. Let's dive right into what's happening here. And what's looking like is we're slightly above this time last year. Now, I know not a lot of national reports have been coming out with some pretty negative behavior, and I don't think that that negative news is really tied to the single family home market. We've seen a little bit better market than we did last year as far as single family homes, both in the average and the median. You can see very stable, very flat, very similar. Now, the condo townhouse market, we've seen definitely some troublesome waters here. And you can see down 3.5% on the average, but it is bouncing around pretty similar to where we were a year ago. The median's very flat. Now, our second check on all of this is always this price per square foot. You can see that single family homes are down just a little bit price per square foot. It could mean a number of different things, right? Different product types selling, location driven stuff is different. Greater Metro Denver is very large, right? 7 counties. So a lot of that could be affected. But the condo townhouse is very clearly different than it was last year, and we're down about 6%. So that 294 square foot is getting more in line with where the single family home prices are. It'll be interesting to kind of see how long this lasts, but by nature, attached products should be a little bit more affordable. And when HOAs went up and insurances and taxes and all that stuff went up, you really lost its affordability. So this is kind of it rebounding back to that effect. Now, here's the one thing that is worth noting, right? Supply and demand is what really creates all of this strife in the marketplace. And active listings on the marketplace is down about 9% from where we were last year. It's clearly because there's not as many listings coming on the market. That flood of inventory that came last year, I think, scared off quite a bit of sellers, and they chose to do other things because people really started pulling inventory off the market so early last year. But what you're seeing this year is a more reasonable amount of listings coming to market, 6% less than we saw this time last year, but it is creating a little bit less inventory. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It definitely means that buyers aren't getting as quite as good of a deal, but sellers aren't having to give away the farm either in many cases, right? The other part of this is, I guess if you look at this, new listings were 6,240. So we had over 6,000 new listings come to market. We were at the peak of the market for under contracts in March again this year, which is, maybe not the greatest thing, but it seems like April was very similar. 4,100 listings went under contract. So 6,200, that's 2,000 difference, right? I mean, we have way more homes getting listed than we have buyers for. So expect that inventory to continue to rise. As you're looking at this, it is down a little bit year over year, but month over month, we're definitely going to continue to see that seasonality take place in the market. And the interesting part is if this is anything like last year and the previous years before it, you can really see under contracts are going to continue to tail off through the whole year. Not that they're going to stop, but they will just slowly erode as buyers sort of buy what they want. They get this idea early in the year, and as they're able to take advantage of that, they are putting stuff under contract. We just don't have as many buyers as we have sellers in this marketplace. You can see here in the market activity, buyers came out early. Average days in MLS are actually up just a little bit, only by like 3.5 days than it was this time last year. But we're trending towards the middle of the year where it's the fastest pace in the market. And the close price to original list price, right? We've changed this market stat now to make this make more sense. You can really get more out of this. It's still a better deal for buyers than it was a year ago, right? And that's largely what's causing that price compression in the marketplace. So if you have other questions, concerns, definitely bug me for other information or our data. You can see here, this is the preliminary information on the closed listings. If you care about that stuff, I always think this is helpful, but it definitely is a lagging indicator. So I don't spend a ton of time on it. You can definitely see though that we are putting so many more homes under contract for single family than we are for those condo townhouse markets. But if you need any other information, please reach out to me, Anthony at Land Title. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to get more data like this.